Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. You probably have seen Shark Tank and heard about Lori Greiner, one of the entrepreneurs and investors on the show. Lori jumped on the opportunity to partner with my guest today on her potentially life-saving product called NightCap. Shirah Benarde is an entrepreneur who did so many things right. She and her brother practiced their pitch, and they did not let perfectionism stand in the way of taking action toward their mission. Action provides clarity, and the mission of serving others was bigger than any limiting beliefs. Stay tuned for this fascinating story. Here is Shirah Benarde.
Perfect. Hi, Shirah. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you guys?
Good to see you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to chat with you. I saw the Shark Tank episode.
Oh my gosh. How was it?
It was great. Oh my gosh, so quick. And Lori was really on it.
She was. She really was.
Yeah. Well, I can see why. It's a great concept and wow, it's very inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Shirah, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about you? You're from South Florida, correct?
Yeah. So I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I'm born and raised here. And when I was in high school, I had a college friend that was roofied at the bar. And a few weeks later, I went to bed one night and I thought of an idea in my sleep. The next morning, I woke up and I sat down with my dad to create the first prototype out of my mom's pantyhose or stockings and a spreadsheet for my room. I didn't really know how to vocalize what I was thinking, so I made it visual with, her old stockings, and I taped them together and created a little prototype. And that's kind of when NightCap was born.
That's so cool. So back up a second. You had a friend who actually was roofied in high school or was she in college?
Yeah, she was an older college friend, but ever since starting the company, I mean, there's so many people that have this experience and people that are just commenting.
Oh, you froze for a
Go
second.
out before the products, but now, our products give them peace of mind. And I know I didn't really explain what it is, but the first product is the scrunchie that doubles as a drink cover, and you can wear it on your wrist or in your hair. And then when you go out, you can put it over your drink to protect yourself. It's washable, reusable. And now we have like a whole product line for unisex options and disposable options to just basically ensure that anyone can be safe no matter who they are or what they're drinking. So that is our goal. We're just trying to protect people one NightCap at a time.
That's a great idea. Great idea. Back when I was, and I'm going to date myself here and you're going to think I'm like ancient, and it's true. But back when I was in college, I don't remember having anyone encounter this problem. It seems like a newer phenomenon. Well, newer to me, but I'm just so sad that this is something that you have to face or something that you have to deal with.
It's definitely been around for a while. I know my grandpa, he's like 101 years old, and he said
Oh,
there's a term for it when he was growing up called, I have to look it up, but there was
uh-huh.
there was like a different term for it. And now, you have like spiked or roofied, and
Uh-huh.
there's all these words for it. But I also have adults now that are like, I wish I had this when I was younger because they've had an experience. So I don't think that it just started. I just think it's on the rise and it's more common.
Wow.
And people just
Uh-huh.
more access to drugs now. And
Yeah.
I think Like, that's a huge problem in itself. And I don't know, I guess safety is you're more at risk these days. Like, with people just don't, yeah, I feel like we're not trained as much. Like the bouncer,
Hmm.
that just like they see someone that's that kind of looks like they're in trouble and they get kicked out instead of being helped. So we've kind of lost that sense of like caring for other people.
Gosh, that's sad. Really
Yeah.
sad. Well, and I grew up in Iowa too, and I don't know if that makes a difference or, the access certainly makes sense. But yeah, and we're, being in a small town, I didn't really see that much, but it's kind of heartbreaking to think that it's even a thing, you know?
No, for sure. It's a huge problem and it goes unreported most of the time because victims are accused of drinking too much or
Mm.
they're embarrassed to talk about it. They feel ashamed. It's not something that, people want to talk about. So I think that like within the last 5 years, when we started the company, like we've kind of like taken the product and created conversation around it and kind of made people comfortable to speak out about their experience, which I feel like helps them heal in a way. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think people are starting to just talk about it more and more and not be so afraid of what other people are going to say because it really is a problem.
Yeah, that I'm grateful that you're doing this. It feels like a lot of victim blaming here. I mean, originally, it sounds like it's getting better, but that's, to blame someone for acting drunk when they aren't, they're drugged.
Yeah, there's victim blaming and there's also, uh, I guess, laws that aren't in our favor for victims. Like,
Mm.
for example, if you if you go to the hospital, you're not really given a test to be like if you've been drugged, you're not given a test unless you've been physically assaulted. And so then you have people that are, in the hospital. Um, they can't prove that they've been drugged because hospitals won't give them a test, and then they'll send them elsewhere to go get checked out. And by the time they're at the toxicology center to get a test, the drugs have already left their system. And this happens all the time. And I recently talked to one girl who was drugged, and she was drugged with something that had a horrible effect on what they gave her at the hospital. But because they told her she was just too drunk, they were just giving her medicine. And it made it worse because
Oh, no.
they just kind of accused her of being, of just drinking too much. So she ended up even sicker because they didn't believe her that something was wrong. So they're just, giving her more and more medicine that was not sitting well with the drugs that were already in her. So yeah, it's a real problem. And um, I guess our products, they cover your drink, but they also are a deterrent. So they tell the people at the bar, "Don't mess with me. I am aware of the
Mhm.
problem. I'm not one to be messed with." And it's really a signal. And I think that's one of the cool parts about NightCap is that you're showing everyone that, you know, this is this is me protecting myself. Also,
Mhm.
you should never leave your drink unattended because I think a lot of people, they look at a nightcap and they're like, "Oh, that's great for when you're going to the bathroom." And it's like, that's not really the case here. It's always
Mhm.
for when you're holding your drink or your drink's right next to you. So, yeah, we like to educate people on not only the problem, but the product as well, because I think people can get confused with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love the conversation that you're starting. It's just, that doctors or that when you're at the hospital, you know, giving and being given a drug without your consent is assault. I'm thinking that would legally, I don't know. I'm I'm just talking off the, what would make sense to me. And and it just seems like, my gosh, how do you flip the script so that it's not you that's at fault here? You're the one that's protecting yourself or trying to, and you have to face this reality that you're being blamed for being drunk when you're not.
Yeah, that's a super interesting way to think about it. And I agree. Uh, Yeah. We've been doing a lot of work with like universities, and
Hmm.
a lot of them will like find us on social media and they'll reach out from their health center or their campus police department or Title IX, and they'll order nightcaps in bulk for students. So uh,
Great.
yeah, so a lot of college students are getting them through their universities, which is really cool. And it shows that their, schools care about their safety, which is awesome.
How long have you been doing this, Shira? How long have you had the company?
I've been doing this for 5 years, and my brother is my co-founder. So we work together on it. But in the beginning, I think, we just had like one product, and now we have like 10. And it's really cool to be able to just like continue to innovate and like see what our customers want and try to just like adapt from there. So, we have things for like beer bottles and cans, and we have college boxes and bachelorette boxes and all the things, mm, to really make people feel safe and just have access to all these different sorts of things. And yeah, we've come a long way. We sell to over 170 universities and over 40 countries, which is cool.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been really awesome.
Are you still working with Lori too from Shark Tank?
Yeah, so we went on Shark Tank in 2021. We filmed a year or 6 months prior, so 2020, and we had to quarantine in a hotel room for 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. And we printed out a bunch of pictures of the sharks and put them on the couch and just like pitched all day, every day. And
Wow. Practice.
yeah, it was a lot of pitching, and then eventually on the 10th day we went out and pitched our product, and then yeah, Lori jumped on it super quickly. She asked for we asked for 20% the business for 25, or no, for 60,000, and then she came in for 25% at 60,000. So she does still work with us. Yeah.
That's neat. Do you get to work with her personally?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. What has shifted since you started? Like what did she bring and what did you find that changed in the way that you were doing business?
Yeah, I would say um she well, we went on Shark Tank very early on in the company, so
Mm.
her expertise was needed at the time. Like I remember right after the show, she was like, "You guys," she was teaching us about branding, and she was like telling us how like in the first few seconds of somebody looking at your product, they need to know what it is. So I think that's when we added like we changed the colors, we added like a phrase on top that's going to tell you exactly what it is. We made it pop more, and it was pretty eye-opening to know like, okay, this is, you need to catch people's attention within like 2 seconds. Um,
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of attention, so you need to capture it. And, if you're sitting on a store shelf, like that goes the same for the same. People want to know exactly what it is. And if they don't, they keep walking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the name? Because it's brilliant.
So right when I sat down with my dad and created the prototype, he immediately said, "It's either a nightcap or top hat." And I was like, well, there's a clear winner. Because we're not doing top hat. But I really love the name nightcap too. And right then and there we like found a graphic designer to create some logos, and um just like really jumped into it at first. I feel like a lot of people get wrapped up in it needs to be perfect and it needs to look a certain way. Like everything that we created in the beginning is honestly just different now. We've changed the logo, we've changed our website and design, and like we we're just completely different people than we were 5 years ago. So I think everything has changed in that way, and I feel like, um, yeah, like it was it was more so like, what problem are we solving? And we need to solve this fast instead of like, let's get this branding, all this stuff to be perfect. It was
Mm-hmm.
not really about that. So we took the steps that we needed to, and we were really focused on our mission rather than perfection.
That's great. That was what I was going to ask you next is how did you, like when you got started, I see so many entrepreneurs, they get stuck in that. They get stuck in, I've got to make it perfect, or who am I to be doing this? And I was wondering if you encountered any of that in your own journey. Did you feel like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea, but I'm not ready? Or did you encounter any of those kind of blocks?
Yeah, like of course, because we were so young, especially me, I was only 16. So um I think when I thought of the idea, I didn't let that get to me, and I was more so excited about the problem we were solving instead of getting too wrapped up in my own head, because I usually talk about this because at 16 I was like very, I would say, insecure about like what I knew and what I didn't know, which was a lot. Um and I think like um I felt like I had to know more, and I wasn't ready to be like the CEO and like have this title because I was so young, which makes sense. But I think that the journey of learning is so much more important than like thinking you need to know it all in the beginning, because you don't. I've met so many like females or entrepreneurs in general that um, they say like your advantage sometimes is like having no resources, having no money, and knowing nothing in the beginning, because that's kind of what helps you learn and discover trial and error, just like pivoting. So yeah, definitely like I got in the way of myself. Would self-sabotage in my own head, but we were solving something bigger than us. So you just kind of figure it out, literally.
Mm-hmm. That's so exciting. And I'm I'm so proud of you for doing that. Cause yeah, it's very common to just kind of let yourself get stuck and feel like, well, I don't know enough yet, or I don't know what I'm doing, or who am I to do this? And keeping who you were serving in mind and working for them, for a solution to a problem. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think no, I mean everything in entrepreneurship, it's like something comes your way, you figure it out. Next
Yeah.
thing, every
Yeah.
single thing. It's like we're not given like a big brochure. It's like this is
Yeah.
how you do it. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think a lot of people get uh, stuck with that because
Yeah.
they spend money and go to college, and then they get out of college and they are confused why they don't know how to start a business. And it's not that college invalidates that. It's that like it's all experience. Like you have to jump into it and learn how to start a business.
Yeah. You have to
So
start.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's very true. Like when you start, it kind of brings clarity to what's next, and of course you're going to change. And like you said, your logo, your marketing, a lot of it changed, but that's part of it in any business.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that like more people start to like understand that and realize that, because it's so important. Like whatever you're trying to solve, someone out there has that problem, and like they're not looking at your logo or your name.
Right.
They need the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. The transformation or the safety in your case.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been doing this for 6 years, you said?
We'll
Ish.
be fixed here soon, 6 year coming up, but it's been like 5.5. Yeah.
Okay. And are you in college now?
So I went to college right after I filmed Shark Tank, and then a year and a half in, I left, and everyone told me not to, including my parents. My parents were like, "What do you think you're doing? You're not leaving." And I was like, "Yes, I am." And my brother, he went to school at Florida State for political science, and then as we were starting the company, he went back for his master's in business. So we say that we have 2 degrees between the two of us because he has both.
Yes, that works. So you guys are still working together as a team, you and your brother?
Yes, we are. Yeah, he's more so on the operations side, and I'm on like the marketing and sales side. So we're very different. We're on different paths. I mean, same paths, different.
Skill sets, it seems like. You kind of complement each other.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I
Yeah.
think it works so well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
feel like fun working with him.
I bet. Well, most of the time.
Most 99.999. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good. That's a high percentage with working with a brother.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you mentioned you guys are well, at some colleges are kind of giving out your product and that sort of thing. Are you doing some outreach with different colleges then, or how are you getting the word out about your product?
So social media has been like everything for us. Like honestly, I spend half my time just like throwing content out on the internet, good
Uh-huh.
content, just like,
Yeah.
but like really crafting like, and like campaigns almost,
Mhm.
showing people how easy it is for your drink to be spiked, or talking about the red zone and like the that's like a time period from fall semester to Thanksgiving break where assault cases rise on college campuses, and just like
Really?
yeah, so just talking about different things, educating people on terms like the angel shot, which is like when you go to the bar, that's a term you need to do to ask for help if you feel uncomfortable. Just, you
Oh,
know,
wow.
yeah. So we've accumulated a pretty big following on social media, and that's where like university people will find us and they'll just reach out to us. We don't do a lot of outreach. Recently, we've been trying to do more, but it's not a big thing for us. It's really just like like putting content out there and letting people come to us. Really,
Bringing awareness more.
yeah, and it really works actually. I like it.
Wow.
Surprisingly, it actually works for us.
That's great, and I can see why it would. Um, and I'm thinking about my audience. Most of my people, I think, are um, moms of kids who probably are in college or really close to that age and really want to protect their daughters and, well, their sons too. But I had never heard of that spike in, in risk
Yeah,
before Thanksgiving. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What's that about, or what?
yeah. So the red zone is actually like right now. It's August through November, and it's literally proven that uh, percentages of these assault cases will rise on specifically college campuses. And um, even though all students are at risk, it's actually mostly uh, freshman females that are the most vulnerable. And it's like, there's obviously no excuse for the crime, but if you're thinking to yourself, like, oh, why does this happen? It's like a lot of people are stepping onto campus for the first time. There's a lot of hazing going on. People are starting to make friends, and maybe they're not the best friends that, they're not actual friends. A lot
Mhm.
of time it's actually targeted or victimized by people that you know. So, we always talk about like how to stay safe would be, going out with people that you actually trust, or having a code word, or just knowing the term red zone, I think helps because nobody talks about it. And, I make these videos on TikTok and people are like, oh, so that's what my situation was called. Like, I didn't know there was a term for it. I
Mhm.
think just like if people just knew that that was a term, it
Mhm.
would say it could save a lot of people from these instances. But just knowing, like just awareness. And it's weird because you would think, oh, maybe this is something that every freshman should learn, but like that's not even the case. And just think colleges could do a better job as I've been to college in the last couple of years. I know
Mhm.
I'm teaching you, and I think they could do a way better job at promoting safety and how to handle situations. And yeah, the red zone is, yeah, it's something that, I mean, a lot of people are affected by and they don't even know. So
Mm.
just, I say, like, use products like NightCap or use an Invisaware, which is like, one of my friends' company started. She invented a jewelry, like necklace and bracelets. You click it twice and it alerts like the police and like your friends.
Wow.
Yeah. So um, just having like little things here and there, a little code word, right? Like just to text your friends or a hand signal that like we need to get out of here. Um,
Hmm.
and being aware is really, really important.
Wow. So, what would you do? You have advice for like moms of college kids? What should a parent say to their daughter or their son about this?
I would not be afraid to talk about it. I think like they're all old enough to know what's really going on, and don't be afraid to shy away from it, and like be your child's biggest advocate, because the situation I was talking about earlier where my friend was in the hospital. This is a different friend than when I started the company, but this girl was in the hospital and the doctors were just like, she's just drunk. Let's just give her this medicine. And the medicine it didn't react well with the drugs that were in her system already. Her mom was the only one there that was trying so hard to advocate for her. And, you're their mom. So you know that something's off with your kid. And
Mhm.
I think if her mom wasn't there, I mean, which she kind of wasn't because the hospital threw her out, but her mom listened to her at least and like was trying her best to help her. And I think after something like that happens, it's super hard to cope with it. And so like you really have no one to go to most of the time. So I think just like being a mom, being an ear and like not blaming anyone for what's
Mhm.
happening, because I'm sure they probably didn't do anything wrong. They just, trusted someone who they thought was a friend, or, yeah, that's honestly as simple as
Wow.
that's pretty much what happens is like you trust the wrong people. Um, so yeah, I think just being an ear and like not being afraid to talk about it.
Yeah. Wow. That's just it's eye-opening, frankly. Yeah. And thinking about moms of boys, I had 2 boys and, they're my bonus kids, but still, like, raising boys to be men, I would really want to let them know to keep an eye out too for their female friends and, you would hope you would pick your friends wisely, but yeah, if you're in your freshman year, you don't necessarily know who that is yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that too, like I think even boys, I mean, even boys can be a target too. So um yeah, not ruling that out either um is a big one. So
Mhm.
yeah, but definitely I would say that's a great piece of advice. Tell them to look out for their female friends. It's super important.
Mhm.
And mm,
Well, and if you've got a male friend who's acting like that, if who's being, you know, who's frankly breaking the law, you know, then do something about it. Be a strong person. And I know it's hard to do when you're just trying to make friends or just meeting new people, but wow, that's crazy.
mm, yeah, yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation. But yeah, I mean,
Uh-huh.
what you can do is just,
Be brave, stand up.
yeah, just talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more aware your children
Mhm.
be about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more people will understand maybe that it's just not you don't do that. It's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's not okay and it's
Right.
not acceptable. It's not normal either. It shouldn't be normalized because at this point it just feels like everyone's.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost kinda like, well, it's just happened, so you gotta protect yourself. Well, yeah, you have to protect yourself, but what can we do to change it?
I wish I could tell you. I feel like, I mean, there's no excuse for the crimes. People are people are partaking in these crimes every single day. Like, do I know what goes through someone's head when they want to spike a drink? no. But it just, what can you do about it is you can take safety into your own hands and
Hmm.
just, protect yourself and be observant of your surroundings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I got to believe that some of those kids who are doing that, through the hazing and all that sort of thing, they're dumb kids, some of them, sometimes making the wrong decision because you're not mature enough to make your own decisions.
Yeah, and it's really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh. Shira, looking back, is there anything you would have done differently?
Man, I mean, maybe yes. I think, um, I think what I would have done differently is just be more confident in myself and like listen to myself more. Um, yeah, like especially just starting the business so young, I was very insecure. And if I had a little bit more confidence, or maybe like like if I had confidence, I was gonna say if I had someone to like cheer me on, like I did have people cheering me on for sure, but I think it really comes from you. Like you have
Hmm.
to be your own cheerleader. Um, and just, yeah, being confident and like not knowing everything would be what I would do differently.
That's amazing. And that's a really wise look, a wise look back I mean, you're very young. You're 22?
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. You have so much going on. That's
Thank
amazing.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. What's next for you? Do you have more things in the works? What are you planning to do next?
Yeah, I'm so for NightCap, we want to get into more universities. If there's 170 of them now, I feel like there could be 1,000 of them in another 5 years. And um, just getting into more students' hands, changing laws around drink spiking. And then personally, like I'm launching a season 2 of my podcast in like less than a month. So that's gonna be really cool. I just want to like help people understand entrepreneurship and like listening to yourself more. So that is what I'm working on right now. And then yeah, just like saving more people from this crime and being like an ear for victims.
Good. Very good. Good goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is called In Your Dreams because I thought of NightCap and
Ah,
Freakin'.
brilliant.
So yeah, I named it In Your Dreams, and it's all about like I started it because I noticed my friends putting like business owners or people they wanted to be like on a pedestal that doesn't really exist. Like so we look at the sharks on Shark Tank and we're like, oh my God, they're so cool. I could never do that. And it's more so like, why can't you do that?
If
Um,
somebody did it, you could do it too.
so yeah, I bring on like different people that started businesses, or I brought on the seamstress that helped me create my prototype. I bring on people that have been roofied. It's kind of like a mix of things that all have to do with like NightCap and like personal like friends that are entrepreneurs. So next season I have a really big guest coming on that I'm really excited about. She's a CEO of one of the retail stores that we're in. So it'll
Nice.
be really cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting too.
Yeah, excited. It was a deep conversation. So yeah, podcasts are tough, but that's same thing as entrepreneurship. It's all hard, so nothing good comes easy.
Well, yeah, it's very good too. I don't know if you've experienced this. It sounds like you have. I have learned so much from my guests
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
just the people that you meet that you would never have met had you not started a podcast. It's just been
yeah.
amazing.
I think that's the best part about it is like who you get to talk to.
Yeah.
And, mm, yeah, just like what an interesting way to to meet someone is have a recorded conversation with them for the
Hmm. Yeah, and that somebody else can learn from too. And
Yeah.
gain some information.
Yeah, it's really cool. Thanks for having
Uh-huh. Thank you. Thanks for being a guest.
me. Yeah.
Great to meet you.
Ew, this has been fun.
So one of the things that I always ask my guests too, and you're you don't have as many years behind you, or should say under your belt. But what I usually ask is, well, what's a favorite memory over a cocktail? And you've been enjoying cocktails very safely, which is a very good thing. So what's your favorite cocktail? What's your favorite kind of drink?
Ooh, I go in phases, but
Same.
recently recently I've been on like a fruity phase where I'm like, I like this, like a mojito.
Mm.
And um, yeah, mojito sounds really good right now. But I don't know, it can vary. Like I like an Aperol spritz sometimes, but
Oh,
what's yours?
I love an Aperol spritz too. For summer when it's super hot, it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
That's been my summer go-to this year, but yeah, I go in phases too.
Yeah. Yeah, like an espresso martini is good
Mm.
sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm a big wine fan, so I love a good glass of wine, but just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm having it with friends, or
Mhm.
having it with a meal, or
Yeah, no, it's all yeah, I know. I feel like that's the hardest decision for me. I'm the worst at picking movies, food on menus, and drinks. So that's sometimes I just try to leave it to my friends. I'm like, "I'll get what you get."
Mhm. Yeah, yep, that works too. Get to experience it through their eyes,
Yeah,
taste buds.
exactly. Like, you guys
Yeah.
decisions for me.
Uh-huh. Well, and sometimes I'll pick my meal out by what wine I'm having, like what wine sounds good.
I love that. That's
Kind of like picking out your outfit by your shoes. I like these shoes today, and
I've never thought of it like that, but that's great. I love that.
what memory do you have of sharing a cocktail with girlfriends, and a fun one? Because we've been talking about, not so fun experiences with drinks, but I know we got some fun ones too.
Yeah. Um, think like I think the best memory is kind of like vague, but I feel like when you haven't seen a friend in a really long time, like a high school, like best friend, and you have a cocktail with them and you just like think about how many memories you guys have had together. And yeah, I guess you feel a little tipsy and then you start expressing love for each other. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing ever.
Yes. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like you pick up where you just left off. Like you never left each other.
Yeah, that's the best. I love that. So
Uh-huh. You've probably heard the saying, I love the nights I can't remember with the friends I can't forget.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true, but it's hilarious. Yeah. I love that.
Mm. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you would love to share with people?
I really feel like we covered so much of it. So, not really. I would say just maybe go stream my podcast if you like. I feel like I got some good gems in there that could help people.
Nice. Very good. And where can people find your website and your product?
Yeah, our website is nightcapit.com. We're on Amazon and we're in Forever 21. Hint hint hint. Um and our social media is Nightcap It on everything. And then my podcast is In Your Dreams podcast.
Nice. And you're on the major podcast platforms
I
like
am.
Spotify, Apple.
Yep. All of
Excellent. Very cool. Gosh, Shira, this has been so fun. And it's great to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me. And maybe
Yeah.
till next time.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm in Sarasota half the year, just across
Oh.
the state.
Yeah. Well, I went to University of Tampa, so I was
Oh, nice.
right over there, but I go over there a lot. So let me know.
Well, yeah, it would be fun to share a drink.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you again for being on my show. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to check your show out.
Of course. Thank you.
Great to meet you. And I'm grateful to meet a new friend.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And have a great day and good luck with everything. I'm just so excited to see your progress and watch everything.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
All right. Well, see you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I feel lucky to not have experienced this firsthand. I did pretty recently have a friend get roofied in Mexico, and people didn't believe her either. I can't imagine the level of frustration and fear you must feel if you're the victim of this type of crime. And then you're victimized again when people blame you. It's way past time that we stop judging the victims and stand up to say it's not okay. It's obviously not okay to spike someone's drink or give them something without their knowledge. It's also not okay to second guess or judge the victim of this crime. They know their body, believe them when they say something is off. In the meantime, protect yourself with a product like Shirah's and share it and this story with your people. Stay safe, my friend. Cheers.